I feel like I can talk about this publicly now because it's not going to happen. But I almost went to Jamaica to take magic mushrooms and make a video, which probably needs a bit of explanation, which I will give to you. This is kind of a story about temptation, shall we say. But a bit of background. If you're a creator, anybody with an online presence, even a micro influencer, you start getting inundated with emails from companies that want you to promote whatever it is they're selling, some goods or services. And unless you're an A-list celebrity, the caliber of these companies leaves a lot to be desired. So you should normally avoid them like the plague. But as a health content creator, you get approached particularly by health related companies for obvious reasons. They are looking to tap into the market, the audience, the trust you have generated with your audience. That's what they are paying for. They are using your credibility. So you should have a very high bar to take on any endorsement in a field where you are marketing yourself as an expert, because then why should anybody trust your opinion? If a big medical podcaster takes millions of dollars to promote supplements and then does an episode on supplements, or takes money from blood testing companies and then does an episode on what blood tests to get, how can you possibly trust them? That's a direct conflict of interest, a financial conflict of interest. Just as we should be critical of doctors who take money from pharmaceutical companies, it's the same thing. So I am quite critical of influencers who do this, and I talk about it a lot. And it's normally pretty easy to ignore these emails because they're kind of comical. You know, a lot of the time they'll write in a very personalized way, "Dear square bracket creator name, we love the thing you do on your account, and especially liked your recent project. Wow, it was happy slash sad. Um, and we think our product would resonate with your audience," and then tell you whatever it is. And it's normally some complete nonsense like donkey balls, male enhancement supplements. That is actually very close to one that's emailed me 4 times. Male enhancement supplement company. And by the way, the leading sentence was, "We've worked with Matt Walsh, the Padlock Planet guy lives in his mum's basement, Paul Paul Joseph Hudson, and Ben Shapiro," as if these are people. Oh yeah, okay, I want to join that club. Sign me up. Or it's some Chinese company, and they're always like, "Hey, this is Shirley from Long Dong Marketing, medical manufacturing plant in Shenzhen, and we would like you to talk about our home mass spectrometer kit," or something equally niche. And so you just chuck them all in the bin. But one arrived recently, and this is where the temptation begins. All right, because the company, the email started like this. It was like, "We have seen that you made a few videos on psychedelic therapy and have an interest in it," which is true. I do have an interest in it. And so we want to offer you a VIP trip on one of our luxury psychedelic retreats in Jamaica or the Netherlands. So I felt it merited at least their reply. And I replied, and I voiced my concerns. I said, "Look, I've got 2 concerns. Number one, I'm a practicing doctor in the UK where psilocybin, which is the retreat they were inviting me on, is illegal. So even if I'm totally objective and neutral, I could be seen to be promoting something that is illegal in the country of my license. And my employer might take a dim view of this as well." So I learned last year they monitor my social media very closely. So I said, "Look, I need to straighten these things out in advance. I need to have these conversations and make sure I don't face professional repercussions. But secondly, I've also got these rules about financial conflicts of interest. And I think I don't want to just do an advertorial for you. I don't want to just be parroting your marketing copy. I want to come at this from a scientific perspective. And I see that you've got some scientists and doctors listed on your website. Maybe I could interview them. And I said, I need to have complete editorial control. I don't want to just be a marketing um, project for you." And to their credit, they said that all sounds pretty reasonable. We totally understand. So I said, "Look, let me do a bit of groundwork. We'll have a meeting in 2 weeks' time." And I postponed the meeting a little bit. Now that was meant to be last week. And last minute, they cancel on me and say, "All of our spots are full. Our influencer campaign was a huge success. We had lots of demand." And clearly they were just after some influencers to promote their product, which is, of course they are. I don't think they really cared about me making some scientific documentary on any of it. Um, so, it's sad. On one shoulder, I had the sensible side saying this is for the best. You can avoid any financial conflicts of interest. You don't have to look like a hypocrite. You won't get in trouble with your regulatory body or your employer. But on the other shoulder, I had it was a free trip to Jamaica, man. I was I was tempted. Uh, no offense, Netherlands, but it was only ever going to be Jamaica. Um, and I think, maybe it is for the best, not only for those reasons, but let somebody else enjoy a psychedelic retreat. I don't feel I'm in need of any kind of psychedelic retreat at the moment. I'm a pretty happy chappy. I don't subscribe to this American idea that everybody needs to have some kind of therapy. So I don't feel like I'm missing out, except on the ackee saltfish and jerk chicken, which I would have happily partaken in. But there was a even bigger price to pay, which I hadn't really considered the first time. Yes, I may have been struck off professionally. Yes, I may have lost all my professional credibility online as well. But something much worse could have happened because I looked at the timetable and only a little bit was actually ayahuasca or psilocybin. The rest of it was breathwork classes, group singing, grounding sessions, journaling, yoga. And nothing wrong with yoga, but I just would have embarrassed myself because let's face it, if you're paying $5,000 to $10,000 to go on a psychedelic retreat, you're probably a lot better at yoga than I am, and I'm the Indian one, so I would just be bringing shame to 1.4 billion people. Um, and I realized that there's not enough psychedelic drugs in the world to render me in a state where I'm not immediately going to put my foot in my mouth and say something that would offend the entire retreat by mocking some wellness thing. I don't think I could be around those kind of wellness people for 4 days without offending them mortally. But I wanted to talk about this because I know I can be critical of influencers for taking health promotions and endorsements. And it's not because I'm a saint or anything like that. We're all human, and I was tempted there. Clearly, for me, the price is not millions of dollars. It's a free trip to Jamaica. So if anybody else wants to bribe me, now kind of where my yardstick is. Um, and it reminded me of that scene in First Contact where Data is telling Captain Picard at the end that he was tempted by the Borg Queen, and Picard's like, "Huh, really?" And he goes, for 0.68 seconds or something, which for an android is an eternity. I was tempted. For me, I know I said we're all human and then told a story about an android, so that doesn't make any sense. But maybe my 0.68 seconds was a couple of weeks because I was mulling it over during this time and wondering if there was a way I could still attend and not jeopardize my own standards. But in the end, it was taken out of my hands. Perhaps that's for the best, and we'll never know if I would have really gone through with it. So anyway, that was just my story about how I didn't go to Jamaica to do magic mushrooms.